everyone, it's Eric Holmgren, your local historian, and today I am with Kathy Frazee. Kathy Frazee, who's one of the wonderful docents here at the Bradford House. Kathy, where are we in the Bradford House? Can you tell me a little bit about this room?
Okay, we are here in what was Mr. Bradford's home office. It's been restored and is still used for an office by the Placentia Founders Society. So you'll see some new things as well as old things. But part of the building itself is very interesting insofar as you have the old part of the room on one side where you have coved ceilings that will help flow the air around so that it circulates and keeps the house cool. But when they were going to set up the museum, they knew that they had a big partner's desk down at the packing house. And so they said this room would not accommodate a partner's desk. It was too large. So they took out the wall that was over here on the south side of the building and incorporated the mud room into making the office larger. So when you come into this room, you'll see that the ceiling on that side, on the south side of the building, has this right angle corners, and those are the ones that trap the hot air that we have today.
Okay.
So there you go. So this is Mr. Bradford's office.
Right, and just so people know, we don't usually have mud rooms here in California. But the idea is that that's a place where you'd come in, you'd change out of your muddy shoes.
Exactly.
And then you'd put on your house shoes. And,
or you would leave your tools out there and just run in and check a quick thing here, and you would have access to this room, probably to the kitchen as well. You would have access to a couple rooms off of the mud room.
Okay, excellent. So now with this room here, it looks like we've got this big partner's desk, and it looks like it's got seats on either side.
That's why it's the partner's desk, because both people can work at the same time and you have all of your papers that you could share in the middle. This partner's desk we know has buttons on the far side over there that would have been used down in the packing house to call down to the actual area where they packed oranges up from the office. So the office would have been upstairs, and then they would just signal down when they needed oranges or when they needed something from the packing house itself.
Okay.
What's interesting about the desk is that somebody who worked here smoked and didn't use an ashtray.
Oh my
Which
gosh.
is one of the history mysteries of the world, is why wouldn't you use an ashtray on this beautiful desk? But they would certainly put their ashes on the side there and it would burn into the desk.
Oh.
We have things inside the office here that are used by the Founder Society. So we have a copy machine and such, but we also have some tools that would be typical of Mr. Bradford's time. We have an adding machine, which would be comparable to today's calculator.
Right.
We have a typewriter, which would be comparable to the
like a computer word processing.
Keyboard and printer all in one.
Okay.
Keyboard and printer, that's what I'm trying to say. And then we have this fun rotary telephone. The telephone is, you don't punch buttons, but you just put your finger in the hole by the number you want to call, and you pull it all the way around to the stop, and then you let it go, and the number of clicks would signal to the operator which number you wanted. Yes. So that's the wonderful thing about the similarity of tools.
Right.
They serve the same purpose, but they're much different. So
right.
It's kind of fun that way.
Interesting. So, Kathy, we've talked about the phone. What are some of the other things that are here on the desk?
Okay, we have the inkwell, which is a lot of fun because you would have liquid ink and then you would just dip into the ink to write your receipts. We have a receipt book here, which talks about, tells what services the Bradfords may have provided in terms of furrowing or digging the trenches. When you try to water your oranges, you had the water coming from the canal and it would have to flow through the orange grove on a gravity flow system, but you had to direct it. So you had these little walls that you build, and you would come and let the water fall down and fill up the well around this tree, and then you would take a break in the wall, and then you would go down to the next tree and you would build a little wall around it.
Okay.
And there are a lot of families who had their children doing this kind of work, and so they would all know about how to keep the water going down to the orange trees.
Very
so
good.
if Bradford's maybe perhaps did that for some folks, they would keep that in the log books. These log books are from 1947, 53, somewhere in there, so that's later on after the packing houses were beginning to, well, they were kind of reaching their peak in the 50s before it started to die down.